if you're thinking about maternal health trajectories, people who live in environments with good water and sanitation, people who have access to good nutrition, good housing, women who are empowered, these women have better maternal health outcomes across the board than women who have, poorer exposures in their social environments.
Tommy, parang kau wipe so mami tu. Tommy, tapi pot is keren so wipes. Kan Nunu.
I'm Nasika Kamat. I stay in Delft. I'm a backyarder. Yeah. And I was a mom of 2 children. I'm renting in a windy house in somebody's yard that recently also moved into our house. So.
And how did you find out about the Wendy house?
I found out about the Wendy house because I was staying. I was this lady's neighbor. So her daughter got a Wendy house from her grandfather, and then my boyfriend helped them put this Wendy house on, but there was no roof yet. And so the lady where we were staying by came and said that we have to move because she's gonna rent the place out to other people, and since me and my boyfriend is at home. So we came to Auntie Anthea as usually because we always came here and sat here and spoke about things happening, and we told her that we have to move and all that stuff. So she said no, we can move into this Wendy house because tomorrow our children will also need something, so she'll take it as now we are children. So we moved in, and the first night when we slept in this place, the rain came on top of us while we were sleeping. So the next morning we took the mattress because we still had the key of the previous house. So we took the mattress and we went back there to sleep there. Okay, and the girl of the house came back and she said, no, it's fine, we can still sleep there until the people of the house comes back that needs to rent the place at all. So one night she came and said, alright, the people is coming, so you need to go. So we came back and we sorted this place out, and yeah, and we're here now for 2 months.
So maternal health is the health of the woman during and after pregnancy, but it does extend to the environment in which she exists, because the determinants of maternal health extend beyond the healthcare system. They also exist within our environments.
I think psychosocial well-being during pregnancy and labour and when you become a mother are really important, and it's such an important transition to motherhood that it can be got through much easier if the woman feels supported. She's not too stressed, she knows what's going on, and she's empowered in a way. And I don't know if it, for some women, sadly, it's outside of their control. They're living in really difficult situations with, in an environment where there's a lot of psychosocial stress, and one wishes one could give more support to those women.
I'm Anthea Williams, and my most favorite thing to do in life is to be around people. All ages, religions, it doesn't matter, as long as I can be around people, then I'm happy. Being a mom, me personally, it's the most beautiful thing ever. I love my kids. I'm one of those parents that will die for their children. I don't hide this stuff. Yes, I do be a little bit maybe too overprotected sometimes, but to me, motherhood is the most beautiful, beautiful thing you can ever be. So, not only to my kids, everybody's children, if I can have them all around me every day, then I'm the happiest person. Like I always used to tell my children, my kids should be somebody else's kids. Somebody else's kids is my kids. So yes, I think that's the most beautiful thing that can ever happen to a mother, is sharing a love with the kids and yes, getting love in return.
Okay, I'm Sue Focus. I'm a obstetrician. That means a doctor who specialises in birth, which I did for 43 years before retiring 2 years ago. I worked in public sector maternity hospitals in England, Zimbabwe and Cape Town, and I'm also part of the Department of Obs and Gynae at University of Cape Town, and I do a lot of work nationally with the inquiry into maternal deaths in South Africa. I do feel very privileged to have done this kind of work. You know, I think it's a huge privilege for someone to be there at the birth of a baby. You know, and one never really forgets what a wonderful thing that can be.
My experience of motherhood and pregnancy is like very, it's not like a normal mother would say, because in 2016, the 19th of June, it was the day before my birthday. I was in matric. It was a very rainy day that day. I was sitting at my friend's place. We were smoking oka pipe. That time I was just oka pipe. And then I went home. When I got home, I asked my father, where's my mom? And he said, no, my mom made me a cake for my birthday because she knows I like cake. But she went to go and collect it. Okay, and then I undressed myself because I'm gonna lay down in bed now because it's raining. While I was laying, my mom came there with a cake. But she was angry at me. She was start scowling at me, and I asked her, what's the problem? I did nothing, and she told me no, she knows I'm pregnant. I told her, but I'm not, because I know I still had my periods the end of May. So I couldn't understand how could she say I had my period, I'm pregnant. So she told me, but she bought this pregnancy test and we took it and it showed I'm pregnant. My father got up because my father doesn't allow things like that and having boyfriends. My father got up and he told me that he told me happy birthday, go out of my house. And I walked that day without having a jacket, anything, I just walked. I went back to my friend's house, to the other friend. And I was sitting there, but I heard next door, I heard my mom is there. So I ran, I told him, no, I have to go because I'm hearing my mom is by my other friend's house. So I walked. While I'm walking, my mom came, she told me, your father said you must come, and I told her no, and she said, come. And I went, and he talked to me, and he told me that he blamed himself because he must have expected it to happen. And okay, everything went cool, and I was in matric. Then in January, no, I'm lying, the 22nd of December, it was my appointment date at Tygerberg. The day hospital, I went to the day hospital the Wednesday, the 21st. And they told me that they see my child is not growing. So they'll send me to Tygerberg. The next day I need to be at Tygerberg. So the Thursday, the 22nd of December, I went to, no, they told me I must go to Kalbrema. I went to Kalbrema, came at Kalbrema. They said, no, I need to be at Tygerberg. We took a taxi with my boyfriend, he was accompanying me. We went to Tygerberg, came to Tygerberg. Doctors is around me, checking the heartbeat and everything. And then this one doctor came to me and she told me, there's a big problem with my baby and I need to do an emergency C-section. or else I can just leave the baby inside and wait and see. They gave me and my boyfriend a private room to discuss whether we're gonna do what now. We didn't even talk. I just cried and cried. Didn't know what to do as I'm still young. I don't know what's happening around me. I just want my mom with me. And I phoned her and she also just started crying and I put off the phone. I told him, no man, we can't go on like this. We need to come to a decision. And while I was sitting there, I told him, no, I'm just going to do it. Even though I'm scared, I'm going to do it for the sake of my child. I phoned my mom. I told her, I'm going to do it. And she said, okay, it's fine.
I think young mothers, teenagers do need a special focus in South Africa. Firstly, you know, when they become pregnant, there's a lot of often ambivalence, often actually it wasn't an intended pregnancy, and they don't always know where or who is going to give them the answers to the many questions they have. I think they sometimes feel embarrassed to ask questions. Sometimes they don't want to ask their family because they feel maybe it's a shame that they've fallen pregnant, although it's not usually their fault. And so I think they're often really alone, and the services aren't always geared to addressing all their questions. I don't know if one had wider education in schools or youth groups or kind of cultural groups where young girls could feel they could get more support. Because actually when they fall pregnant in that situation, some of them, you know, it might have been forced sex, could have been rape. They could actually really welcome the pregnancy and really be excited about it, and then they need someone to give them support and feel excited with them. And also they don't always know their options. Some women may want to have a termination of pregnancy, for example. So I think the young people, I'm particularly talking about teenagers, need a lot more support in making decisions and knowing what's going on. And I think, sadly, when they go to health facilities, they meet quite a lot of judgmental attitudes, and that doesn't help them at all, to be sort of judged because they're young.
They took me to a room to undress myself and to prepare me for theatre. While I was there, my mom came in running and she asked me if I'm okay. I told her, no, it's fine. She went back. Me and Taswa went, my boyfriend, we went to the theatre and he experienced everything. How they season me. Because I asked him if he can be there. And I asked him to talk me through the process. While they busy, who tell me, no, they're busy cutting, no, they're busy stitching and all that. When the baby came out, they didn't even give the baby to me so that I can see how my child look or whatever. They just took her away. But for me, it's understanding because maybe my child needed, she needed maybe attention at that time. They needed to do something to her. But luckily, he was there to go with them so he could see where the child is and how my child looks like. So, yeah, so they make you almost like you can't talk. They make everything dead. So, yeah, at 5:30 my child was born. So they took me to my ward. So I needed to lay there. So I couldn't go to my child and look how my child looked like because I can't walk, I can't move. So the Friday morning at 6 o'clock, my boyfriend and his mother was by me. And I couldn't still walk, so they went to the child. He showed his mom the child, and she left. He came back to me. The time he came back to me, I could have walked by that time. I asked him to take me to my child. Went there, okay, I saw my child. My parents came the night, okay. Then the next day, the Sunday, it was on Christmas, 2016, December, man. They discharged me. But my child wasn't discharged, only me. But they told me I must be there every morning to breastfeed her. So I went there the Monday morning. Whole day I was there, me and my boyfriend. And then when we came there, we saw how they pushed my child to ICU. So we asked them what's wrong in that. Okay, they explained to us what the child needs and all that. Okay, we were waiting for them in the waiting room. The doctor said we must wait and then he'll come back and explain. So my boyfriend got frustrated at that time, and he asked them, can't they keep me there, get me a room so that I can be there with my child? They said that there isn't place for me now, but the Tuesday, this girl is going home and then I can take her place. Okay, the afternoon we came back home. So the Tuesday morning I stood up, packed my stuff because I'm not gonna stay there. While I packed, my father's phone rang, but it was in my room, his phone. So I picked up the phone and it was the hospital telling me that my child passed away. And they asked me what I'm gonna do. So my parents told them, no, we're Muslim, so we're gonna take the child's body the same day because we believe in burying that person the same day. Fine. So my mom took me to my boyfriend to go and tell him, because that time he was staying in Plukkiesdorp, to go and tell him that the child has passed on. So I came back and we organized the funeral, and my father went to go and get the child's body. When my father came there, the body wasn't at the hospital anymore. They gave the body to undertakers that was in Ravensmead. My father phoned undertakers. They tell my father no, they closed because it was that time it was big days like Christmas and all that. So my father said, no, but I'm in front of your doors and you took my grandchild without our consent. So I'm here now. So they said, he must come around, and we got there, we got the child. Fine. We buried the child. In January, I got a call again from Tiger Park asking me, what am I going to do because my child's body is still there. My mom told them, what mistake are you making, because we have the papers that says that it was a paper that was attached to my child's body, to say that this is my child, my name and everything is on there. And then they found out now there was a big mistake, is somebody else's child. So my mom told them that you're opening old wounds now because we're trying to forget about it, but now you're just reopening it again.
Some of the basic obstacles that women face in accessing the right kind of treatment would begin at the community level, whether or not the health facility is accessible, first of all. And once they reach the health facility, basic antenatal care, whether or not she makes the right number of visits, whether or not the health provider, provides the prescribed services, the full range of services that they're supposed to provide, including taking a medical history of the woman, and during birth and even antenatal care, do you take enough information from the woman to be able to be prepared to recognize danger signs and to refer her to the next level if it's a high-risk pregnancy? So during birth, if you know enough about the woman, you should be able to know that she should be referred to the next level. And does the system work? Those linkages existing between the primary care level and the district hospital, for instance.
In 2017, I got pregnant again with my second child. And I went to go book at Symphony Clinic here in Delft. And I told them what happened to my first child, knowing that it can quickly happen to this one also, because the problem comes from me. And it seems to me that they didn't take note of it, and they just give me a new date for follow-ups to check up on me. And then when I was eventually 5-6 months, they saw, here's this problem. And then they took me to Tiger Park. Came to Tiger Park, they told me, asked me if I didn't want to abort the child or do I want to keep the child. So I told them, no, if I'm going to abort the child, I'm always going to wonder, would this child would have overcome this problem or what? So I told them I'm going to keep the child. When I was 6 months, the baby's heartbeat stopped. It was on a Monday. They gave me a date. Every Monday I should have been at Tiger Park to check on the child's heartbeat and all that. So this Monday, when it was again my date, I came there. They said no, the heartbeat stopped and all that, and I must come over 2 days. I must come back. Then they're gonna keep me there, and then they're gonna give me pain so that the child can come out. I was laying there for 2 days struggling for this child to come out, and eventually came out. Yeah, like most people, and where motherhood concerned, I can't say that I have that mother because I couldn't spend much with my children. Like the second one, I didn't have time with her. But with my first one, I had 5 days with her, and sometimes I still feel it because I wonder how it would have been, or sometimes I see her face because I still remember how she laid there crying for me, or when I would speak to her, she would play back or answer me back. Yeah, so I can't really say about motherhood. And what hurts me most is Mother's Day, when I would wish Mother's Day would tell me, don't worry, you're still a mother. Yeah, so I can't really talk about motherhood, but I know I would have been a great mom to her. I would have given her things I couldn't have. I wouldn't do anything to give her just what she wanted. Yeah, but I just go on with my life, and I trust in God that there will come a time. Sometimes I just tell myself, don't worry, maybe you weren't right that time, you were still attending school, you were still young. But yeah, I will just wait and see what turns out next.
There is a comprehensive programme at national and facility level which monitors all babies that die before birth, i.e. born as stillbirths, and babies that die shortly after birth. We call that a newborn death. It's called the Perinatal Problem Identification Programme, and it covers most facilities where, and the main aim of it is to find out the scale of the problem, how many babies are dying, what weight they are, and then to try and find out what the cause is. And the cause could be, for example, high blood pressure of the mother, so that the baby doesn't grow properly. It could be a sort of hemorrhage during pregnancy, which affects the placenta and the baby dies. It could be a problem with birth, so the labour becomes obstructed and the baby becomes short of oxygen. It could be infections, such as syphilis, can cause a baby to die. And then the other issue is babies being born too early. So if babies are born before 34 weeks, and particularly around 28 weeks, which is 7 months, those babies have poorly formed lungs, and they actually have quite a high rate of death because the lungs don't breathe properly. So there is a national system that tries to measure, and it looks at each province and each level of care, and then it also tries to find out what the problems are. Is it, for example, because women don't go for care? That isn't the biggest problem, actually. Is it the problem that when they do go for care, things are missed? It's not perhaps noticed that the baby isn't growing well enough, or even though they picked up a problem in labour, they couldn't get the patient to the next level of care in time because there was an ambulance delay. So this national system called PIP does try to understand the problem, and from that it tries to then introduce training programs and recommendations. I'll give you an example. There was a time where we thought every woman needed 4 visits in the antenatal care period, and that had come from World Health Organization. Women need 4 visits. But then it was found that when they only had 4 visits, they weren't frequent enough to pick up babies that weren't growing well, or mothers having hypertension, high blood pressure. So we've now changed the system that we recommend all women have 8 visits. And in doing so, you pick up problems earlier, and sometimes that helps you save the babies. So there is a national programme, but I think it's also important to look and see what's happening at the level of the facility, because it doesn't necessarily help a woman who's had a stillborn baby or a baby who's died shortly after birth just to talk about national statistics. They don't want to know about themselves and why their baby died. And it's devastating for a woman in a maternity hospital to have a stillborn baby or a premature baby that dies after birth, because all around them there's a lot of joy and new birth, and they're in that environment. They have to be there because they have to give birth, but it's devastating for them. And I think it's really important that the facility knows how to look after them and understands the pain they're going through. There's some facilities which will have a sort of separate room a little bit away from the labour ward where the woman can give birth, so they're in a sort of more nurturing environment and don't necessarily hear the newborn babies crying. Also, I think the health workers just need to give the women information and do all they can to give her an answer why the baby died. Sometimes that may need investigations, and you might only have those results back a bit later. But it is really important that the woman has some idea of why it happens. And if necessary, the doctor or nurse writes it down so that she knows before she goes for her next pregnancy. Because when she gets pregnant again, if she's lost a baby, all the details of what happened around the time of birth are really important for the people looking after her the next time, because they will then say, okay, well, this problem was, I don't know, let's say because of syphilis, but that's been treated now, so this pregnancy should be all right. Or, well, in that pregnancy she had very bad high blood pressure, so in this pregnancy we can give her aspirin and calcium, see her more frequently, check how the baby's going with lots of scans, and this time have a good outcome. So I think trying to understand why it happened is important for the woman so she has an answer, but it also helps the health workers who look after her the next time. And then I think they've been a bit slow to develop the whole bereavement care. I think people are all so devastated, even sometimes the health workers, when a baby dies, that just the ordinary process of providing bereavement care, support, sometimes is lacking. And particularly with a stillbirth, people don't always see it. Because no one else knew the baby, even the community at large don't recognise the existence of the baby. But the mother and her partner do. And it's really important that the health system helps them grieve properly and give the baby a name and maybe have a footprint of the baby or a bit of the baby's hair or something where it legitimates that person as a real being, which they've lost. So I think there are programs nationally at facility level to look at why they happen, what can we do to prevent it happening, and we've also got to really look at the more personal aspect of how we help women come to terms with the loss, without guilt, because women often tend to blame themselves, inappropriately actually. It's not usually their fault at all, but I think it's a female thing to blame yourself when things go wrong, and the health worker must really help the woman see it in the bigger context and help her get through the difficult time.
Sometimes I just feel useless, as if I can't bring a child to this world. I know, like now, it will be hard to care for it, to give a child whatever it wants or what, but I just want that little person to be with me. That's why my friend Candace has a baby. In the morning I would stand up and go to her. I feel that with her, that she can be mine. And then I'll tell Candace, make your house clean or wash your washing. She'll lay with me, and then she'll just lay here and I'll play with her and that. And she also, they allow me to bond with her also. And it's almost like she also knows, because she'll just play cool. She will never cry by me, that I can feel, no, you must go to your mom. So.
Haar vriendskap vir my is baie waardevol. Ek sal nie haar vriendskap wil verruil vir enigiets anders nie. Ja, soos elke vriend is dit ons ups and downs, maar omdat ons lief is vir mekaar, sal ons altyd daardeur kom. En ek sal altyd vir haar ondersteun, net soos sy vir my ondersteun. Wat ek die malste van Nasika is nou, as die wyse is met my babatjie Keren. Sy is so 'n ander ma vir Keren. Ek kan enige tyd net vir Keren na Nasika toe neem en ek kan my dingetjies doen wat ek moet doen. Of Nasika se dag kan nie begin as sy nog by Keren gewees het nie, of wanneer Keren te lank weg van haar was Keren slaap, sy sal altyd na Keren toe kom. Sy het daai tipe moederliefde vir my baba wat ek nie gedink het 'n vriend sal kan hê vir my babatjie. Dit sou waardeer ek Nasika se vriendskap baie.
There's a real lack of really explaining anything in the clinics. Like, it's not even, I mean, consent's a problem, but it's even beyond that. Like, there's not even that engagement amongst the midwives and patients in most circumstances to even allow for real informed consent to happen, because women aren't even being told like what's going on.